I saw you dancing like heavy smoke. Have you fixed that treasured heart that's so broke? Here is a tape for me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody is listening? Heaven is getting closer to the earth, and someday I'll set you free, I promise. There's no time to lose, the world is closing in, and we're still here. Do you wanna feel alive? We are, so what's the rush? Feeling like a dream. Could we be crying for tonight? We lost but never found. Fear is not around. We can't turn this world around. This will be the end of treason as we know it. This will be the death of anger, 'cause we won't show it. Here isn't safe for me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody's listening? Heaven is getting closer to the earth, and someday I'll set you free, I promise. There's no time to lose, the world is closing in, and we're still here. We are alone, so what's the rush? Feeling like a dream. Could we be crying for tonight? We lost but never found. Fear is not around. We can't turn this world around. I saw you dancing like heavy smoke. Have you fixed that treasured heart that's so broke? Here is a tape for me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody is listening? Heaven is getting closer to
What's up, vape fam? Still vaping on the Series Stack Ampere 21 with the Viking RDA on top and some Series Aliens in this from Twisted Timmy's. Actually, wait, no, they're not. They're Series Aliens from Ohms Coils, or if you follow him on Instagram, he now goes by Ohms Tips because he makes a bunch of custom drip tips. I think he does that a little bit more than he does coils anymore. But we've got kind of a lot to go over tonight. Got a bunch of mech mods to take a look at, and we're going to do 4 builds and 1 wick job, because this one right here, the Danny V2 Mini on top of the Vindicator, which this is probably next to a Kennedy atomizer on top. This is probably my favorite setup for the Vindicator. I already have coils in here, and they are some Ohms coils, and I don't want to waste them. So we're not going to rebuild that one. We're just going to re-wick it. Got a bunch of liquids. They're all my recipes that we're going to use tonight. Still have not gotten the Neapolitan from Licious Flavors in yet. Should be here tomorrow, but with the storm and everything going on, everything that's supposed to be here got delayed. A lot of you guys I know are kind of out of the States, but anybody that's in the States, especially down south, I hope you are safe. I hope everybody that you love is safe, and I hope that nothing got wrecked or ruined. Your house didn't get have a tree fall on it, things like that. There was a ton of ice down south. Where I am in Kentucky, we just kind of got a lot of snow, and that was about it. But about a decade back, we got a huge ice storm, and it was absolutely hell on earth. So I definitely sympathize with everyone down south. Hope everybody is safe and doing okay. All right, let's see what we got going on in chat here. Apex Predator, what is up? Tim NZ, how's it going, brother? You are always in here. Thanks for always popping in. Quilly, same to you as well. Apex, really, you've been here, I think, for every stream since I've been back. Then we've had a CG, and then it's IV6XG. I'm just going to call you CG. He was wanting me to answer a few questions for him. We'll get to that here in just a second. Who else we got in chat? William OG, what's going on, brother? OG Hatman. And looks like that's about it at the moment. What did I miss in chat? Stuck in Tennessee, pretty much just ice. Yeah, I guarantee it. It looks like everything pretty much south of Kentucky got drilled. Indiana sucks, yeah. I think you all got more snow than we did. We kind of hit that band where we were riding between the ice and the snow. So we just kind of got a light bit of snow and then a little bit of sleet and freezing rain there at the end. So basically we're blanketed in snow, and then it all kind of got frozen over. All right, let's do CG. What are your particular questions? Thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you for coming to live stream and hanging out. I always dig that. But whatever questions you got, let's hear them. Chat may be able to answer anything that I can't. So yeah, once you pop those up, I'll take a look at that. But with this one, I've got the cookie custard that we we did up last time. I changed it a little bit. It was a little too heavy on the cookie and not enough custard. And to me, if you're doing a custard, that's just not right. You gotta have a hefty amount of custard, and then whatever flavoring you're using with it, to me, needs to be a secondary thing. And I really wanted this to be more of like a custard mold, and then you've got like crumbled cookies kind of over top of it. And I think now it hits that a little bit better. Only thing I did, if you were here for the last stream, I turned down the cookie crumble and I removed the FA vanilla cookie. One thing with FA vanilla cookie, when you start mixing it with custards, is sometimes, depending on what the custards are, and Inaware custard was one that I forgot did this, it'll have a little bit of a metallic taste after a while. So I actually removed vanilla custard or Inaware custard and replaced it with TFA vanilla custard 2. Took vanilla cookie completely out, and then just dialed down the cookie crumble some. I am going to make that recipe public as soon as this live stream's over. So if you want to check it out, go over to all the flavors, just look up Sorteal and you'll find it. So I've been considering a mech. I've seen your intro to mechs video. Are ohms computations different for dual battery mechs? The ohms computation in and of itself, and it depends on what you're talking about. I mean, the ohms on your build are going to be, whatever they are. But as far as trying to calculate, depends on if you're doing series or parallel. So I'm going to do it simple, I guess. Birdman probably jump all over me. But so theoretically, if you're doing series, the two batteries are doubling the voltage. So, normally it's going to pop up to, 8.4 volts theoretically whenever you're in series. And then if you're doing parallel, your amps are going to theoretically double. They don't really, but that's kind of the gist, is your amps are getting more under parallel. Your voltage stays the same as whatever the voltage for one of those batteries is. If you're doing series, your amps stay the same, but your voltage is doubled, quote unquote. Regular, parallel, standard RDAs. Okay, so with regular parallel, if you're building on something, whatever, you can build lower on parallel for one. So if you go to, say, Ohm's Law calculator, your voltage is going to stay, it's going to be 3.7, just like if you're building for a single battery, or 4.2 if you want to, but honestly, you're never going to hit 4.2 volts. So just put 3.7, and then whatever your build is, whatever you're building to, what that ohms comes out to, you put that in, then you hit calculate, and using Ohm's law, it will tell you, what the amp strain on your battery is going to be. In parallel, that amp strain is essentially going to be double. So if your battery is, say, we'll go on continuous, let's say you're using the P50B and your continuous amp discharge rate is, say, 45 amps. Well, now theoretically it's 90 amps. So you can build even lower because now you have the amperage to push that build and not damage the batteries. But I wouldn't go ridiculously low. So that's kind of how your Ohm's law calculations are going to differ as with dual battery. Parallel kind of means you can build lower. Series, you're actually going to want to build higher. So most of the time, if you look at series coils, they'll be like 0.3 and dual coil setup for series. And that's because now you've got double the voltage pumping through it. Says my 0S40 dual 21700 series ohms are 4.2. Just checked on a DNA, for example. Yeah, it just depends between series and parallel. So if you like building low, like you might have seen some of my videos, I build low. I like building, 0.90 or 0.09, 0.08 on a single battery even. I always make sure my single battery is very durable and in excellent condition before I would use it for something that low. If I had a parallel mod that I was putting that on, I really wouldn't worry about it at all, because it's going to be nowhere near what the amp rate is for two 21700s, say two P50B 21700s in parallel. In series, I like it around 0.3. So yeah, just depends on which one you're doing. All right. So smorgasbord time. So you got it at 0.42 in series. Actually, if I like building up around that like 0.4 somewhere in there. If it's a series build, I'm gonna vape like it's gonna be my main vape. I do dig it at like zero point 0.3, even like 0.28, but I can't vape that just like all the time. It's just too much. This one at 0.3, I've still been vaping on this, but this is kind of one I set off to the side. And then I've got whatever single battery mech can build I'm vaping on. Every so often I'll grab this one and take a rip off of it as well. But if I was gonna say, hey, I dig this, I want it to be my all day vape kind of mod, I'd have to up the ohms on it to probably about 0.4 or like 10.42. And I dig series. It's just a bit much sometimes. One last question. I'm running a 0.15 ohm build at about 65 watts. That build at 3.7 amps will push about, 3.7 volts, will push about 91 watts through my build. Sounds like Mechs may be too warm for my liking. If that's what you like 0.15 at around 91 watts, or are you saying the 91 watts is going to be too much because you like it at 65 watts? 65, something, a build that would push 65 watts in even a single battery mech might not be that great, but you might like, I don't know, some people like, say, a 0.15 build on a mech with kind of a strong battery. It's not a super hard hit, but some people enjoy it. Do you think 5 wraps is better than 4? Depends on the style of coil. Yeah, that would be my answer to that one. So yeah, mechs might be, that's kind of the thing with mechs. It's heat and power. That's what most people build on mechs for. Like take Birdman. Birdman loves series builds because he likes power and he likes heat. Few other people that I know are big on heat. One of the reasons they don't like mesh, because mesh is such a cooler vape that they want that kind of heat. I enjoy heat as well to a certain point. It's kind of why series, as far as kind of the lower end of ohms for series, 0.3, 0.28, not, I can't do it continuously because it's too hot and a little bit too much for me. But on a single battery, I do like it 0.09, 0.08 build because it's got a little more heat to it, a little more kick, more vapor production. But like this is 0.15 at 75 watts. And I dig this. Like, just kind of depends on what I'm vaping. A lot of times candy or fruit flavors, well, particular kinds of fruit flavors, I don't like them like on a mech with a low build and a bunch of heat. I need it to be more kind of like 0.15, around 65, 75 watts. This right here is a pink starburst recipe that I did, and it works a lot better around that wattage. So yeah, it just kind of depends. Tim says 0.09 to 0.11 works well for me. Do have others though. Yeah, I kind of jump around too, and it depends on the liquid as well. Certain liquids I might want a slightly higher build. Like I'm gonna do my lemon drops recipe. It's just a lemon candy. But out of the coils that we're going to use, I'm going to use I can't show it because it's got all kinds of, but it's the recoil coils that Thundercloud sent me along with the recoil R3 RDA, and they only come out to 0.1, but I think that'll work fine for this particular candy. But I don't like it at like 0.08. It's just too much for that particular recipe. Real Flavors pink candy is phenomenal. It is, and I don't have it. I don't have it anymore. I used this, but my first thought was that pink candy, but I used Ultimate Pink Burst along with, I really dig this one too, the Wonder Flavors soft candy pink strawberry. This one's dope. You got to kind of push it a little bit to really get it to work right. But yeah, if I had that, I would probably sub that for the ultimate pink burst. Need to get some more. It's just so expensive to order from uh what is it, the DIY e-juice in Canada. It can get expensive real quick. One-on-one is decent too. Yeah. On your recipe, are you doing 80-20? No, I usually do 60-40, sometimes 70-30, depending on what the recipe is. But most of the time, I've been going 60-40. DG, no problem. And, you know, if you're following me over on Instagram, and you got any questions for me, just send me a direct message on Instagram. I don't mind at all. I'm not one of those people that ignores Instagram messages. I'll get back to you. All right. So let's go over. Oh wait, I was gonna go over Smorgasbord, I guess. So I've still been vaping on the Arcless V2 Copper Edition. Got the Dead Rabbit 4 on it now, and I've been vaping this recipe right here. It is my white chocolate caramel squares. Ever had those? They're just little white chocolate squares with a little bit of caramel in the middle. Talked about this recipe before. I really dig it because to me it tastes exactly like one of those things. Even the caramel, which is really hard to nail, and it took some finagling with Wonder Flavors caramel butter, using it really low for it actually, and mixing it with Flavor West salted caramel, which by the way has no salt if you don't know. But yeah, those with the white chocolate combination of Flavora and Flavor West white chocolates, and then a little bit of Wonder Flavors vanilla cream extra just to kind of smooth everything out. And it turned out great. It was one of those where I kind of made the recipe theory style, like this should work, hopefully. And the only thing I really had to play with was the caramel butter to bring it down to a point that it all kind of worked. But I like this Arcless V2. It's very, very Dreamer-like. It reminds me so much of the Dreamer. The switch, the design of the switch, the way that it hits, the way it performs overall is very Dreamer-like. And I love the Dreamer 1.5. Like anytime someone asks me, what are your favorite mech mods of all time? If I'm doing, say, a top 5, the Dreamer's probably number 5. And it makes no sense because there are a ton of mech mods that perform better than the Dreamer 1.5. But for some intangible reason, I just really love that mech mod. Sounds beauty. Never had white chocolate with a caramel center. Do they not have those in Canada? I have to send you some because they are amazing. They're like they're my crack. I can't, like, if I see them in the store, I have to keep walking and just stay away from them, or I will buy them. Kind of like my Twinkie obsession, which I have broke. You guys remember from live streams past, I did a Twinkie recipe and I was really kind of obsessive about it because I really like Twinkies, but you know, they're pretty terrible for me having Crohn's disease to eat. So yeah, I quit eating Twinkies. It sucks. I'm gonna have to do another Twinkie recipe and see if I can get it even closer. All right, that's one. Still doing the Bonza Pro on the Hyperion V2. I dig this mech mod a lot. We're gonna build up the Danny V2. Actually, we're gonna do Danny V2 Mini, and then we're gonna do the Danny V2 28 millimeter, and it will be on the other Hyperion V2 that I have, the nickel plated one. Man, that's so good. The recipe that I have in that is my simple vanilla ice cream. Really dig that recipe. Talked about it before. And then, of course, this fat bastard right here with my cookie custard. All right, there's one other thing I want to take a look at just to show you guys, because I got them in and I had not heard a whole lot about them other than what Battery Mooch said. And overall, what he said was to really dig that shirt. This shirt starts more debates in public than any shirt I have. And I have a couple of Cradle of Filth shirts that should really cause far more debate than this shirt. But yeah, people love to make comments about it. Usually negative comments, but you know how that goes. All right. So what I want to take a look at is this right here. This is the 10 Power 50XG 21700. Battery Mooch pretty much says this is the best performing 21700 that we can currently buy. And I'd have to agree with him. I really like this battery. The 3.6 volt threw me off, but it is a nominal 3.6 volt battery. So it's still kind of the theoretical 4.2 volts, but generally it's going to run right around 3.6 volts, not the 3.7. But it doesn't really matter for some reason. This thing hits like a tank. And the biggest kind of bonus to this one for me is the drop off. The voltage drop off on this is very kind of slow and it's very linear. The whole drop off is linear. You don't hit a certain point where the voltage just falls off a cliff. The Eves to me have that where they're really good up to a certain point. Then once you hit about 3.2 volts, it just falls off a cliff. But these don't do that. It's just a very slow linear progression. Really dig these. Whoops. Well, it's a battery. I don't think YouTube will care about that one. So yeah, if you're looking to get some new batteries, the 10 Power 50XGs are very good. I also got some more. Where'd they go? Oh, these right here. This is the Ampace JP40. I really dig this battery. This is probably my favorite battery to use in series. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but they work extremely well in series, and it seems like it takes an awful long amount of time before they really start to hit that voltage drop off. So I dig those. That's what I have in the Ampere 21 series stack, is a couple of those Ampace JP40s. So yeah, also, if you're not following Mooch on his Patreon, I highly recommend it. It's only like, it's a couple of bucks a month just to go and join his Patreon. No vape content over there. He doesn't do as much comparing the batteries to vape performance as he used to. It's very just kind of, here's what they are. Here's what the company says that these batteries do, and then here's what my tests say. So it's very cool, it's cheap, and it helps him continue to do it, which I dig. When asked about vaping, I just remember propylene glycol is an aerosol germicide used as a deliverant in inhalers. VG is liquid, sucrose safe for ingestion, food grade flavoring, and nicotine. Yeah. I love it when they say that PG is antifreeze, and it's like, no, it's actually added to antifreeze as a safe thinning agent, and B, so when animals would lick up antifreeze, they wouldn't get sick and die because it was safer. So yeah, I don't know who started that. It's antifreeze, but it's a little ridiculous. Want to Mechs so bad, but just 2 weeks. I'm going to say 2 weeks into vaping, going to give myself time, watch the ohms videos. Thanks a lot. No problem at all. I mean, taking your time with Mechs is, I would say, highly advised. Just because, you know, I don't know. It's not that there's a lot to it, but you definitely need to know your ohms law, your battery safety, your atomizer safety. make sure everything's in great working order before, you try it. And I would say start a little higher with your ohms. Don't just jump straight to 0.1 on your build. Start out maybe at 0.14, 0.13. See how you like it. All right. So what we're going to build up tonight is a few atomizers that actually haven't built up in a while. This one is the Nightmare V2, 28 millimeter on the Ampere 21. Obviously, we're not going to build them on these mechs. I'm just showing you what mech we're going to slap it on in the end. I really dig this one. Even the Mini, I dig the Mini more for squonking. I actually like the Nightmare V1 Mini better than the V2 Mini overall, but as far as the 28 goes, I really dig this one. They are great squonking atomizers, either one of them, but I tend to use this one more as a dripper, and I really dig it. Haven't built it up quite a while. Deck on it, but yeah, I really dig this atomizer. There we go. All right. Then somebody mentioned it the stream or two ago when I was talking about how I'm not huge on 30 millimeter atomizers, but there are a few. And I mentioned the original Asgard. And then somebody mentioned the Vortex from Thunderhead Creations. And this is one I really like. I can't believe I forgot it, honestly. I had two of them sitting up on the shelf looking me right in the face when I was trying to think of 30 millimeter atomizers that I like. Very kind of blaze-like deck. A kind of half pipe airflow deal going on, but it works extremely well. Plenty of juice space, plenty of space for whatever size coil you want. This RDA does great with series coils as well. So yeah. Inside of the cap there. Airflow is smooth as can be on this thing, which sometimes with 30 millimeter atomizers, I'm not huge on so much of the airiness, but this one does really well. Really smooth. Doesn't have a hollow airiness. I already showed you the Danny V2. I keep hitting this thing, but let's take a look at the coils that are already in there. I believe these are the interlock aliens from Ohms coils. Either the interlock aliens or the interlock Fralians. Actually, they might be the interlock Fralians given how wide they are. But we're going to use a couple of those during these builds as well. This is my favorite Danny RDA is the V2 Mini. I think it blows all the other ones out of the water. I really like the Danny V1 as well. I mean, don't get it twisted. I like the Danny V2 and the Danny V3, but this one is an absolute banger. Flavor off this one is great. All right. The one that we're going to use some new interlock Fralians from Ohms coils. Like I said before, I don't bust them out unless it's a build that, I really, really like. So we're going to do the Asgard V2 on top of the Chaos from Silvercraft Creations in the Philippines. I love this mech mod, especially, it's orange. I was lucky enough to get the 0001 version of this one. Although the orange ones, I don't know how many they made. And they may have only made one, honestly. Love the engravings on this. And then this is like a beauty ring that came with it. You can stick a 30 millimeter on here, but you can't use the beauty ring. So yeah, when I got the Asgard V2, I was pretty pumped that I could use a beauty ring with it. All right, so yeah, those are the ones that we're going to build up. We're going to build this one up too with the Danny V2. I could get the dang drip tip to sit flush. I have to swap that drip tip because it does not want to sit flush for nothing. But if you've never seen the deck before, there it is. Danny V3. I haven't looked at it in a while, but if I remember correctly, it has gold-plated positive posts. Yeah, simple deck. Kind of got an interesting, but I don't think it's fully realized airflow. So basically, you got little ramp supposed to shoot the airflow kind of up this way, but unless you take your coils and get them really close to this airflow, it's pretty much just going to go kind of straight up. Not enough of that ramp coming inwards to really force it up at that angle. But I really dig this one anyway. And honestly, I think the flavor off of it is great. A couple of reviews I saw, I thought they were a little too harsh on this thing, but I dig this one a lot. All right. So, let's do the Nightmare V2 first. Put the Ampere 21 off to the side. I'm gonna adjust my camera some. There's our deck. See if I need to back these out a little more. One thing I love about this one, it has channels for your grub screws. So you pretty much just stick your driver in there and then just kind of turn it till it clicks with the screw, and then you back out. There's no kind of fiddling with it. Sometimes when the grub screw is just bare on the outside, it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, at least for me, because I'm blind. A little bit of a pain in the ass to kind of get it to back out, unless I'm holding it like right up to my face. All right. So with this one, we're going to use some of those recoil coils. So these should come out to about 0.1. Been a minute since I built this up, so I'm not entirely sure about coil height, but yeah, I'm going to say 5 is probably good, depending on how deep these are. Maybe 6. Let's start out at 6 and then go from there. Need to get a Danny at some point. Deep juice well, yeah, that's definitely a pro about them. Even the V2 Mini for a 25 millimeter RDA has a ton of juice well space. That one there. Now these coils I wasn't super impressed with. I mean, they're decent, but they're nothing to write home to mama about. I actually like, as far as kind of mass-produced coils, not handmade, I actually like the Alien V2s from Coilology a little bit better. I'm not going to show that one again because it's got stuff that YouTube does not like. All right, let's see how this works. Yeah, we should be able to slam it to the deck. And then raise it up a little bit. Actually, we might not even need to raise it. Get it out of our way for a second. David Nance, what's up? Hope everything's going good. Thanks for popping in. I had to shift that one over a little bit because the grub screw was not wanting to clamp down on the leg lead completely. Still don't think it's completely clamped down, but actually, yeah, it's all right. Pick this one up a little bit. I think that's good. All right. Coming out to 0.09 at the moment, which about right. These usually come out to 0.1. I've had a couple of them come out to 0.11. Which is fine either way for this one. William, brother, you take it easy. Checking my tightness there. This one does not initially seem like it wanted to heat up anywhere near as quick as the other one, but I think they're doing a little better now. Although I don't really know what the difference was there because I did not tighten them anymore. They wouldn't turn anymore. Like I said, these coils are decent, but not super great. For pre-made, kind of machine-made coils, they're good. Oh, I'm going to have to put new batteries in this here in a second. Not heating up perfectly even, but I think it's good enough. They're very close. We use our BP Mods Pro Vape Cotton on this one. As always, mostly just because it's easier. But yeah, I like this one. I know it seemed like a lot of people had varying opinions of the Nightmare V2, especially of the Mini, because the original Nightmare Mini was just so highly regarded. Seemed like a lot of people you would ask their top two favorite atomizers were the Asgard Mini and the Nightmare. These through here and we'll check what our resistance came out to in the end. 0.1 on the money, so yeah, that is good. Ever tried coil clamp? I have. I have some coil clamp coils still. Is what are they called? Is it Tsukiyami Fralians? I probably just butchered that. But those Fralians, they're pretty expensive. Those coils that he makes are amazing. The only problem with coil clap coils, and maybe it's just me, but they kind of have a metallic taste to them that takes a while to kind of go away. And it's not just like a break-in period where, after 10 or 15 minutes it goes away. To me, it seems like it takes over a day, sometimes two, if I'm not just ripping and rolling with it. It might take upwards of 2 days. So I'm not sure why that is with his coils. But like I said, those one Fralians that he has, it's worth the wait for me at least. But then again, I know some people that swear by his coils. They tell me they don't get that at all, and they love him. It's their, he's their favorite coil maker. To me, Liam, which is the Ohms Coils guy, now Ohms Tips, I think he still makes coils here and there. And so he probably definitely does for himself. But he was or is my favorite coil maker ever. His small mass aliens and interlock aliens and interlock Fralians were just absolutely amazing. All right, what liquid to use on this one? A few different options. Actually, I think I'm going to go with this liquid right here. This is my tart raspberry hard candy. This is also one that I don't really vape a whole lot at really low resistances. So 0.1 is probably about on the money for this particular liquid. But anything lower than that, and it gets a little weird. Ends up having a little bit too much. I don't know. It's like the tartness comes out a little bit too much in kind of a weird way if you vape it really low. I love the liquid, but just not on crazy low builds. Only reason I ever buy coils is for exotics. Yeah. Now I dig a good, just straight up alien if the coil maker just really nails it. Okay, I'm going to swap batteries in this real quick. Maybe. Just because it's about to die on me. Put these off to the side. Throw some P45Bs in here, and I think we'll be good. Well, maybe. There it goes. I think my hadron here is about to kick the bucket. All right, let's jump back up top. We'll vape on this for a little bit. Make sure it's not going to blow up in my face. Well, it won't blow up in my face on this. It'll just scream at me that I've got a short, but definitely. Oh, that's another thing. Like CG, you're doing a build that's going to go on a mech mod. Obviously, do it on a regulator mod, but then after that, after you've done the build and you've got it all ready, vape on it for a while. At least a little while on a regulator mod, and kind of slowly crank up the wattage till you hit a point about where it's going to be, or right at where it's going to be once you transfer it to a mech mod. Because I've had builds that seem fine at lower wattage, and then all of a sudden you crank it up and you get a short, and that's going to be bad on a mech. So it's better to kind of test it on a regulated mod for a little bit before you transfer it over. I know some people just build it on a regulated mod and then immediately swap it over to a mech mod. I don't do that. And I definitely don't recommend it. All right, where'd my liquid go? I like this atomizer because you can just kind of puke liquid into it. A little bit too much airflow, so I'm going to turn it down some. I really dig the airflow on this one. Now, I don't know. I don't normally get into the debate of what's better, side airflow or undercoil airflow, because I think it kind of like taste in DIY e-liquid making. It's very subjective. Certain people really dig undercoil airflow, and then some people really dig side-on airflow. I like both of them. I guess I would say I kind of like side airflow a little bit better, but honestly, just try them both out and see which one you like better. So, like with the Nightmare, the original one had undercoil airflow, and then, you know, the new one has side going on. With the Mini, I like the old one better, but as far as like this one, I really dig this one with the side airflow. Flavor House Raspberry is my new favorite. Formerly the Broke Vapor Concentrates. Okay, that I was about to ask who the heck Flavor House was. Yeah, I dig this one. Let's crank it up to, I don't know, just where I stopped, which is 113 watts. Odd place to stop, but hey. That's really good. I'm kind of weird with like candies, especially if it's supposed to be a hard candy. It needs to have that kind of hard candy sheen to the taste of the liquid. And this one definitely so. Only downside with this one is I used Perillum's sour raspberry candy and Perillum raspberry, both of which are hard as hell to find. Although there is a place, a site in Canada that carries both of them in varying sizes. So yeah, that's one that I'll do. Apex says he's vaping a raspberry candy right now. Flavor House raspberry, Wonder Flavors boysenberry raspberry, which is a very good syrupy raspberry kind of deal. Boysenberry makes it slightly darker. I love that flavor. Perillum raspberry with cotton candy jelly bean and Real Flavors taffy base. I bet that is damn good. Who do I usually source my additive from? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, honestly. But I mean, it's perfectly. I'll just say it and we'll see what happens. Well, I won't say the name of the site, just the flavoring company that you can look for, which is Delosi. But you won't find it under Delosi Flavors' primary site. But that should give you a hint on where to start looking. All right, I think we're good. I'm going to use the 10 power 50XG in this. Let's do this the right way and put the atomizer on first, shall we? getting too anxious. As I'm sure most of you know, this is my favorite mech mod ever made. Your Ampere 21. I love this thing. Threading on it is damn near perfect. I love the switch design. No screws, nothing like that. All held together with O-rings, big fat ones. All right, here we go. These coils sound mean as hell for 0.1. Also, very well may be the silvered Ampere 21. The door is closed in here, so I would say, given that we're messing with 5 different mech mods, it's going to be pretty foggy by the end of this. I've heard that Nom's raspberry jam is really good. For me, it's such a pain in the ass to get Nom's flavors, which sucks. I really hope some of this craziness that's going on with trying to order outside of the United States stops soon. Mainly, a big part of it so I can order Nom's flavors again. Well, and order them more easily, I should. Yeah, I dig this raspberry candy, and this setup works very well. I'm shocked about these coils because the couple of times I've used them, like we did them in the other live stream, they were good, but they weren't great. They're a lot better in this setup right here. Although I still have the these coils in the Recoil R3 on top of my Orange Dreamer, and it's been banging away. But given they're the same resistance, it sounds nothing like this. Just say the word that rhymes. All right. Let me move some of this stuff around before I knock everything over like last time. I'm going to reuse that Wonder Flavors caramel square, so I'll leave it. Oh, I want to vape it again. CG, yeah, that's how I get Nom's flavors if I order them. It's just kind of a pain in the ass to do. All right. Let's do the wick job on this one because I want to vape this lemon drops, and this is definitely the one I wanted to do it on. All right, I've already, well, I better not do that. Let's take it off. People get on me about talking about 0.09, 0.08. People jump all over me if I start firing even just my wicking on a mech. Well, that's kind of why I like building the Ruby 21 live, because it's the only way I can build the Ruby 21. Can't really say much about that one. Can't take the atomizer off. All right. So, Danny V2 Mini, just the Danny V2 shrunk down. But the airflow works a little better with this one just because it's so much smaller. So as it's going straight up, they're kind of domed in there. Not as much space, so I can kind of keep the coils at least a little bit closer together on almost all the Dannies except the V1 because it has posts. It's not postless. I get it to a point where the edge of the coil is pretty much on the edge of the, I guess, the postless posts. And it seems to be about perfect. With the V3, sometimes I will move them over a little bit more. But for this one, this is about the perfect position for them, at least for my taste. We use our Pro Vape cotton once again. Really wish with the Danny V3 I had a different top cap. I got it a little late, so the only things that were available, I think, was the acrylic, the clear acrylic, and the Ultim. I went with the clear acrylic because I like top caps like that, but I would have liked to have had a black top cap for it. There we go. And as I said, I've already fired these coils since taking the original wick top out of it. So it's all good. Just need to wick it, juice it, fire it, and Bob's your uncle. I think that's pretty good. Get these scissor clumps out of here. Cloud9 cotton is another thing I need to re-up on. I think there's a couple of places right now that I could get it from, so I need to quit sleeping on it. I dig that cotton. Do my poor excuse for Mike Vape's flip. I don't know how he does it so smooth. Like, I can do it, but it's never perfect. I think that looks all right. Threw a clutch together with the Juggernaut MR just now. Forgot how hard this thing hits. Yeah. I missed the clutch. Never, ever should have gotten rid of my original clutch. Like, I've got the X18, the parallel one. I really dig that one as well. And then, of course, the the SQ, the Squonk one. It's not a clutch, but it's a almost identical body. All right, we're doing the lemon drops with this one. Uh-oh. All right, we'll roll with it. It's saying we're lower than what it should be, but not by much. By like 0.002. Oh, a little too much. This is that recipe I talked about in another live stream. It's just kind of a big monstrosity of a recipe because that's just kind of how it came out. I could not get the exact flavor I wanted until I started putting in some kind of additives, some tart and sour additives, some sour candy additives. And this liquid is a massive cotton killer. I would not doubt before the end of the stream, it's already turned the cotton darker. Like, not ruined, but darker. With this liquid, I pretty much have to re-wick every couple of days. All right, I think that's good. The best cotton, do I think? I don't know. My favorite is Amosa. This stuff, like, it's on Amazon. It just says 13-foot silver cotton, Japanese organic silver cotton. All right, let's jump back up vape on it for a little bit. Make sure no shorts. But yeah, I dig that stuff because it doesn't gunk up as fast as other cottons do, at least in my experience. Takes a little bit to break in. It's not, some cottons are pretty much instantaneous. Cloud 9 is one of those cottons that kind of breaks in instantly almost. The Moza takes a little bit longer than that, but then once it does, it just lasts longer. It doesn't hold up to heat quite as well as Cloud 9, so it's something I don't usually use in series unless I don't have any Cloud 9. I like it better than Cotton Bacon. I really like Puff Wicks too. I think that's some good cotton. But yeah, usually I go with the Moza. I dig this kind of BP Mods Pro Vape cotton because it's so easy and it's not in a shoestring. I can kind of pull it out and cut to what length I need. And you guys know me, I like to waste cotton, so this is just a cotton waster's dream. Oh man, that's good. Like, I'm pretty much always have this liquid in rotation, but it's very much in a nitrous with kind of a 2.5 millimeter coils coming out to about 0.15, 0.14, and again, doing kind of the 65 to 75 watts. But it does work well in a mech mod with a lower build. Or should just say it works better with more power. Or not better, but it works really well. Mainly use BP, but got a ton of Cloud 9, ton of other stuff. Wish I had a ton of Cloud 9. I have like a strip about that big that I've just been hoarding. I don't know why I just don't order more, especially since I know where I can get it. I've got all the QP tanks, never had an issue with flavor on them. I love them. QP to me is king when it comes to RTAs. The Fatality M25, especially the remastered version, my favorite RTA ever made. The M30 is amazing as well. They've got a ton of, the Juggernaut MR is a damn good one as well. And so yeah, I'm a hoarder. All right, let's crank this up a little more. We still got more, and we've already been here an hour. All right, so this time 105. Which what's crazy is we're at 105, and this is not hitting that hard because these are pretty low. These are like 0. None of your business, kind of low. So let's go up higher just to be on the safe side. Like 120. Not much higher, but that's really good. It's not giving me any warnings or anything like that. Let's see if there it went. I think once it heated up, it went to the resistance that it's supposed to be. The Juggernaut still gives you small problems. All right. I think we're good. Let's swap it over to the Vindicator. The only problem with this is going to be this is a 3 milligram liquid. And on higher power, it's almost too much. Almost too much additive for me. P50B here. I've got another 50XG, the 10 power in here, which actually on this, the P50B would be fine, but better safe than sorry, right? Let's use one with a much higher amp output. All right, here we go. Cloud Chucker, what's going on, brother? I'm doing good. We had all that crazy snow, but been snowed in the house for the last 4 days. Yeah, other than that, doing great. A little too dry there. All right, try that again. That's really good. It's so good. Oh, yeah. Really love this Danny V2 Mini. I need to hydrate. Hydration time. And on the Vindicator, it not only looks cool, in my opinion, but it just works extremely well on this thing. But then again, any atomizer works extremely well on the Vindicator. Well, Cloud Chucker, how have you been doing, brother? Difference with this liquid, being that it's a candy lemon, when you use it at higher power, a little bit of kind of a lemon juice edge comes to it right up front, kind of hits you right up front. And then on the exhale, it's all candy. But it's kind of an interesting change on the liquid, honestly. All right. We got that one. We got the Nightmare V2. Just got the Kennedy Roundhouse with the Kennedy Roundhouse is damn good. All right. I'm going to save the Asgard 2 and the Chaos from Silvercraft Creations for the last one. And actually, we may not get to the Danny V2, but we'll see. We'll see how much time we got left. All right. I already showed you guys this one. The Vortex. Sure, a lot of you are familiar with this atomizer. And then we're going to use another Ampere 21. Got 3 of these things. They're, I can't praise them enough, honestly. Want to try your lemon, but I don't have Capella Lemon Drop. It's a damn good flavor. As far as a candy lemon, it's probably my favorite one. All right, let's swap over here. Looks like I did not clean it up as well as I thought I did. There's still a little bit of liquid over there. All right, so with this one, because I dig this atomizer so much, we're going to use some Twisted Timmy's Brayllian V2s. And yes, I have a lot of these because I think we've used them in every stream I've done since coming back. Just chuck that. Don't need that anymore. I do need more hydration though. That low resistance took it out of me. Okay. So I actually need a hex key for this one, and hopefully I have the right one. See what's my Vortex is sitting on the Steam Crave V2. Nice. It is the right one. Yay. Those needed to come back out a little. Maybe this. These are also kind of concave in there, so you don't have to worry about your tools slipping all over the place. But given that it's hex key, it's really not an issue. More of an issue with flathead than anything else. All right. Let's cut them at 6 and go from there. If we need to cut them down more, we can. You're asking like 4 and 5 wrap. Like these are 4 wrap, and I think it's about perfect. He does make a 5 wrap version of this that obviously, you know, is a little bit higher of a resistance. But I really dig the 4 wrap on these. Sometimes with certain atomizers, this is kind of an atomizer. Usually I would go with more wraps just because of how wide the airflow is. But it's also an atomizer that's so good, I don't really have to worry about that all that much. I think 6 is about perfect. Well, I was applauding you for having concave scrub screws, and then I had a heck of a time getting to it. And then I like it right up close to it. I could go closer than that, but I don't think it's going to let me. I think that's about perfect. Still a little. The one too much to one side. There we go. All right. Did it at 6. Let's make sure we do this one at 6. These Fralian V2s are some of my favorite coils. I really like Fralians in various forms, be it just a straight up Fralian or interlock Fralians, which are probably my favorite coil, period. And I would love to know why, after about an hour in, my camera does this thing where it dims itself some. I have to figure that out before the next stream. Swear by Wire Optum hybrid spools. Wire Optum makes some good stuff. That looks about perfect. Timmy, you're waving. Are you out of here? Or did I miss somebody leaving? Oh, you're waving at Cloud Sucker, aren't you? My bad. All right. So coming out to 0.08, which is pretty usual for these. Crank this down. Yeah, there's still too much liquid in there. That's my bad, guys. I need to turn that down even more. There we go. Just strumming along. think that's about got it. Yeah, I think we're good. But this one, I am going to use the Amoza instead of the BP mods. Oh, look at that. Turned out a nice shade of blue. Okay, come here, you. For this, like if you tear it in half, it's probably more like 3.5 millimeter than it is 3. Always tear a little piece off. Then you can usually get about 3 2.5 millimeter strips out of one of these. There's way too much cotton, Lord. This one actually might be thin enough. Sorteal got a single coil kit for the recoil V3. It's nice. Hell yeah. The dual coil version of it is so nice that I definitely, that's another one that has not shown up. I didn't get the kit, just the full blown. Once it shows up, it has a chance of becoming a flavor tester RDA for me, which is kind of most single coil atomizers I have become used for that. Just kind of because you get all the notes out of a recipe better on a single coil. So it kind of ends up, I don't know, being better for recipe testing, in my opinion, to do it on a single coil. Plus, they're just, it's easier to rewick. So if you've got to redo a recipe or you're messing around with it, it's like, what's the best way to go on this? You change something up. Single coil is way easier to just rewick real quick and then try your new version without any of the old version hanging onto the cotton to kind of mess your taste up. This might be too, oh, nope. Thought this was going to be too much cotton, but looks about perfect. Not clumping up on me in the juice well, so yeah, they were good. There we go. All right, so for this one, what am I going to, let's use, let's use the white chocolate caramel squares. This is only steeped for a day and a half, but really doesn't take that long. It does get better the longer you steep it. But this is one it's good off the shake. Sometimes I wonder if it's the vapor that's causing my camera to freak out and think it needs to dim. Pretty good. It came out to 0.09 on the money, so so Timmy does it again. I don't think I've had a set of these Pralien V2s that came out to anything different than 0.09. All right. Slap this bad boy back on it. I dig this top cap. It just kind of clicks down in place like so perfectly and so easy. You don't have to worry about fiddling with it too much. And even if you do, you're in no danger of kind of messing with your coils. Some kind of compressed chambers, you can, if the compression is happening on the top cap itself instead of the deck, and you fiddle around with it, you can, you know, bend your coil, screw everything up. All right. Pop back up. Yeah, trying to focus on the vapor. I think that's what it's doing. And then after that, it just thinks it should dim. No clue why. I have to see if there's a setting in there I can change to have it not dim unless I tell it to, kind of deal. All right, we'll start out around 90 watts. Here we go. Whoop. I love this recipe. Still, it's definitely too low. We'll go 100. How about that? Turn the airflow down a little bit. With it being a 4 wrap, it's definitely a build of coil that can't have this particular RDA just full blown. It's just too much airflow with the coil being that small. If I had a 5 wrap in here, I could probably get away with not having to turn it down at least quite so much. Oh yeah. All right, let's crank it up. Again, this is another 3 milligram liquid, so might be a little bit too much for, well, no, it's 0.09. It should be fine. Jerry said, I love the Blaze Solo. The new one or the original one? I always ask that when somebody says something positive about the Blaze Solo, because I like both of them, but the original is such a pain in the ass to wick. I think I did come up with a wicking method for it that works pretty damn good. Hope you're well and feel okay. Coil, what's going on? I feel pretty damn good. All my health issues at the moment, knock on wood, are pretty good. Or kind of as good as they can be, I should say. All right, it's not screaming at me or anything like that. So grab that P50B I pulled out earlier, and we'll slap it on the Ampere 21. Same with health issues here, that they're as good as they can be. Yeah. Wish it could be perfect, but also I'm a realist. Unless they come up with a cure for, even if they came up with a cure for Crohn's disease, I've had so many surgeries and I have so much scar tissue, I would still have issues. I mean, that's my biggest problem right now. Crohn's is in remission, but you wouldn't hardly know it because I have so much scar tissue, it kind of acts like my Crohn's is flared up. All right. There we go. I dig that look. Actually, let's look at that on the up and close. Dig the copper with the silvered clip and then the stainless steel atomizer. I think that looks absolutely sick. All right. Sorry, my switching moved around on me there. Oh, yeah. I don't know. This is one of those recipes I'm pretty proud of just because to me it tastes like I pretty much nailed that whole flavor of those little white chocolate caramel squares. Tim, you're diabetic, 2 heart attacks, 3 stents, lost a kidney to cancer, but it don't slow me down. Hell yeah, brother. I've lost about half a kidney to cancer, a lung lobe, my right lower lung lobe they had to remove due to a carcinoid tumor. And then I've had 40 some odd surgeries because of my Crohn's disease or things related to it. I've been in the operating room probably more than anyone ever should be. Yeah, I dig this. The Vortex is so smooth. Like, even if you have a series build in this, just the way the airflow is designed, it's going to be smooth. Even if you've got a 0.28, 0.27 series build in this, pumping all kinds of power through it, the airflow on it is going to be smooth no matter what. So, yep, we don't let it get to us though. Damn straight. No point in that, Tim. No point in that at all. Just keep on trucking. Oh, this might go to work with me. I don't normally take the amperes to work, but this is very good. Well said. We're all falling apart. I lost a leg last summer to infection. Oh, damn. Sorry to hear that, brother. Wound officially closed today. Self-vaping disposables in the hospital, but nurse were chill and let me vape disposables. I always take like a pod with me into the hospital. I've been caught maybe 5 times, and each time the nurse was like, just don't fog the place up. Pretty much the only smack on the back of the hand I ever got was don't fog the place up. And they were cool with it. Kids today get a flu and it's the end of the world. Yeah, some. My kids tend to be okay as far as when they get sick. They're very much like, okay, what do I got to do to get over this? Because they don't get sick very often. When they do, they just want to get it over with. So they do what they got to do to wrap it up. Tim said, same. I just vaped in the hospital, just stayed by the window. Coleman, what's up? I didn't see you sneak in. But sadly, just last month, I got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. Just started chemo last week. Damn, man, I'm definitely sorry to hear that. That sucks, man. Good luck with the chemo. Definitely good luck with the chemo. That's what I keep worrying about is they're gonna find something. My father died from cancer, and by the time they found it, it was everywhere to the point they could not figure out exactly where it started. And so with me, sometimes I think having Crohn's disease is a little bit of a blessing in disguise because they never would have found my lung tumor or my kidney tumor, which is renal carcinoma type 2, one of the most aggressive cancers out there. They never would have found it had it not been for constantly getting scanned for my Crohn's disease. So I guess at least something good came out of it. Timmy lost 2 brothers to cancer in the last 2 years. I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences there, Tim. That sucks. Both of my sisters have had tumors as well, but both of theirs were benign. Thank God. Those salts are so hard to come off, still weaning myself off back to my normal Nick level now. Yeah, I've never been a fan of salts. I just have not. There were several companies that would send me pods to review. And almost every time they did, they also sent a disposable. And I'd have to email them back and be like, I can't do these. I'm not going to review it. A, I'm not a fan of disposables, but also B, it's just too much for me. It's way too much. And that was back in the day when I was at like 0.5 milligram per milliliter. So, 30 per milliliter was way too much. Check out the drug Saudi Arabia approved for cancer. What drug is that? Keith, what's up, brother? Lost my father and son to cancer. That sucks, man. Cancer is horrible. That's one I really hope we figure out a cure for one day. Probably more than anything else. Heart disease is another big one, but cancer. Yeah, my condolences, Heath. Not to take away from having lost your father, but a son that's insane. I can't imagine. I can't imagine losing one of my girls to cancer. Oh, I can't even think about that. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. In fact, I wish everyone well. I consider myself lucky to have had something obvious to just look at me. Wasn't hiding inside. It showed itself and was obvious. Yeah, I could see that as far as, kind of feeling like that was a little, I don't know, lucky. MZ and all, Sorteal always starts with what's up, vape fam? We got friends here. Amen. Hell yeah. I don't know why I started that. I think because I'd been parts of other communities. I'm a big Linux person. I've used Linux instead of Windows since 2001 as my main operating system. And the Linux community can be kind of toxic sometimes. Not all. Some Linux communities are awesome, but a lot of kind of communities I was a part of for various hobbies or work related things that were kind of toxic. And the vape community is not like that at all. Everyone is kind of there to help anybody else out in the community as much as they can. And I absolutely love that about us. Ankitava is the name of the drug, the Saudi drug, I'm assuming. I'm definitely going to look that up. I'm curious about that now. Salt's too strong, not a fan. Yeah, same. Yeah, I remember back in the day when they sold like 18 milligram per milliliter, and I always thought that was insane. I couldn't take those, let alone, what's essentially 30 or 25, 30 or 50 milligrams per milliliter. All right, let's do, what time is it? I think I got time for one more. We'll save the Danny V2, the 28 millimeter, for next week. Let me move some of this so I don't knock everything over all crazy like. All right. So we're going to do the Asgard V2. Let me see if I can figure this out here. A little better. So yeah, Asgard V2. I dig this one. It was kind of the first one, actually the first two that I got. One of the positive posts here, as soon as you would tighten it down, it would bend inward. And I was not going to risk that. So the first one I got that did that, I immediately ordered another one. And then it did the same thing. And I almost gave up on them. And then friend of mine emailed me and was like, I really think it's a first batch issue. So I really think you should try again. And I did. And this one has been fine. I've got another one as well, and both of them are fine. But yeah, it's really weird. Love that drip tip. This is from the Drift RDA. They're all like hand polished and they're amazing drip tips. But yeah, the Drift from EDC Mods, it comes with these. Oop. Like a black one, an Ultim one, and then the clear one. I really dig the clear one. All right, I think I've got everything. Nope, I don't have it back down enough. Now this one, we're going to use the Ohms Coils Interlock Freelance. As I said before, they are my favorite coils probably ever. They're definitely a 0 point none of your business, but you know me, I'm going to tell you anyway. These are 0.07. So I will probably use the JP40, the Ampace JP40 over here for this one. Although the P50B from Holocell would be fine for this, but the Ampace is brand new, so we'll go with 6 again. Yeah, the Ampace being brand new is probably a safer bet. And it's kind of, the Ampace is another one that's kind of on Mooch's list of some of the best 21700s you can get. Although so is the P50B. But the P50B that I have out here, the few of them, a little bit older. So yeah, just gonna play it safe. Once I get this in here, we'll try and take a closer look at the coil itself. There you go. Gorgeous coils. Flavor on these is outstanding. I had some Interlock Aliens a while back, and I think it was just the coil maker, who I'm not going to say who that is. But they were not very good. It took forever to get all the hot spots out of them. And then the flavor on it was comparable to just a regular Alien. So I wasn't super impressed with them. And then somebody in a video that I'd done made a comment, because at that time I was pretty much like Fralians are the best coils, at least in my opinion. And then somebody mentioned Interlock Fralians, and I don't think I'd ever even realized at that point that there were people out there that did Interlock Fralians. So I had to try some. And then Tony P from Zero Mods told me to get some Ohms coils. So hit up Liam, got some, and the Interlock Fralians were like the first thing I wanted to try. And as soon as I did, I turned around and ordered a bunch more, plus the Interlock Aliens that he makes. And I was extremely happy. All right, we've got these on here, but I'm not going to fire these things on here. Let's take this off. Then if you're not familiar, let me clean that real quick. The atomizer had sat there way too long. I'm going to have to get some type of cleaner for this. But if you're not familiar with the Chaos from Silvercraft Creations, side fire mech, obviously this one is T6 aluminum. Love the engravings. Bottom there. It is a copper battery contact with like an Ultim top piece. And then the Ultim is what's threaded. I've not had any problem with the Ultim being a threading, mainly because the threads are so big inside and out. So it's just smooth. Breathe that in a little bit. But yeah, I love that mech. One of my favorite mechs, probably ever. I really like the Atlas and the Atlas V2, but I don't know. I dig the Chaos a little bit more. Atlas is amazing. It is amazing. But I personally dig the Chaos a little bit more. Okay. I'm not gonna fire it off at 120 watts. Let's turn that down. There's that beauty ring that the Chaos comes with. Definitely made for 30 millimeter atomizers, it seems, but that beauty ring just makes me always want to use 28 just so I can use the beauty ring. And then being the orange, none of the orange atomizers. I have an orange Asgard 30 millimeter, but it's a different orange than that, so it looks kind of weird. So the only atomizers that I found that really kind of match up with it and look good are either stainless steel or copper, or like a clear acrylic top cap. Danny V3 that I have looks pretty good on that. There's another one I did not clean up as well as I thought I did. But we'll be using the same liquid that I was the last time I had this built up, so should be fine. Actually, the vortex I didn't notice at all, as far as the little bit of excess liquid. Not seeing any more hot spots. Think we're good. All right, grab some cotton. I'm going to use the Mimosa again. All right, what did I miss? Big on corrugated cores, stitched fused micro Clapton cores. What does interlock mean? It basically means that you built a Fralian, but like when you do the alien wire over it, they interlace. So you've got, with Fralians, you've got a flat core. Could be multiple, but they're flat instead of kind of the standard wire. But then the kind of alien-like covering over it, they interweave between each other. All right. Try and get these wicks ready. Or a few strands of interlocking alien cores. There you go. Look, he'd already answered. I didn't even need to. Series coils are usually high mass multi-wrap ohm. What's up, Sorteal? I'm a new subscriber. What's going on, Butta Squad? Cool this down a little bit. might be, thought it would be a little too thick, but it's not. And as usual, I'm just wasting cotton. I think this one will be good too. Yep. And then if I'm sure everybody in here is familiar, but all I'm doing is kind of measuring when I do that to where the base of the juice well is, and then I'll come up and cut just a little ahead of that since it's not going to go over the lip there. I'm dropping my big ball of cotton here. So yeah, this is the Amosa stuff I really dig. Basically just Japanese organic cotton that comes in one big long 13-foot strip. But I really dig it. I didn't really get too many clumps from scissor cuts either. And like I said before, it doesn't gunk up as fast as other cottons in my experience. Okay. Throw some of this excess cotton away. And I'm going to use my vanilla custard. It is on all the flavors under Sorteal's vanilla custard. I really dig this stuff. Okay. So we came out to 0.07 on the money. And Liam's coils are kind of like Timmy's. They almost always come out exactly the way they should. Or, the way they're labeled. Although I know Liam used to put kind of a plus or minus 0.02, but I don't think I've ever had one not just be spot on. What sort of a device you intend to put those coil? Oh, you're talking to DG. I'm just butting into other people's conversation. All right, I think that's good. All right, let's jump back up, do our usual vaping it regulated, kind of slowly cranking our wattage up till we get it exactly to a point that it's high enough that it's not going to scream at us. Keith, if you're talking to me now, I don't sell anything. All my recipes are on all the flavors. You can mix any recipe. I think all of these recipes that I've talked about tonight, except for my cookie custard, are up on all the flavors or will be as soon as this stream's done. The name of those coils again? These are interlock for aliens, and they're from Ohms Coils. But now he doesn't really do coils for for sale anymore. He kind of switched to making drip tips and integrated drip tips for boros, things like that. Man, that's good. That is so good. I've been vaping this liquid on the Recoil R3 with some of those recoil coils, and then it on top of the Dreamer. This at not even really cranked up too high yet is like it's already better. Like flavor wise, everything coming out from the recipe a little bit better. The egginess from the custard is a little more pronounced, but not being annoyingly overpowering at all. Man, that's good. He said, damn, yeah, I know. It really sucks because he's my favorite coil maker, hands down. I really need to bug him and be like, hey, man, I've almost used up the horde of interlock Fralians that I have. You pretty please make me some more. I don't know if he would or not, though. All right, we got it at 105 watts, basically. But since this is so low, let's really crank this up. Say 135, give or take. Let's see if no, we're good. Making sure our resistance didn't change once we kind of heated them up a little more. Oh, yeah. All right, I'd say we're good. If two rips, well, a few rips at 105 and then a few at 135 didn't scream at us, didn't tell us we had a short, resistance didn't fluctuate all over the place, I'd say we're good. Oh, wait, I want the beauty ring. What am I doing? Do you remember the Zat Hog 30 millimeter RDA by Morton owned from years ago? It was on my unicorn list and I got one last year. And for old vape tech, it's not bad. I do not remember that. The Zat Hog, it sounds familiar. Grab this JP40, brand spanking new. And the venting on this is at the bottom. There's two little holes here. But I always go positive up. People like to complain about that with me. Positive should go where the venting is. But I like my positive to be just right there on my atomizer's 510 pin. That way, there's not a whole lot of material that up there that could possibly touch any of the negative, which is pretty much the rest of the battery. So that's just personal preference, really. There we go. That looks a little better. All right. Take a look at it up close real quick again. I think it looks sick. And it's orange. Of course I like it. Freaking orange. Thing. It's like your girlfriend's husband. CG, take it easy, brother. Appreciate you stopping in. Every Monday, 8 p.m., come hang out. Although it's Tuesday this week, but I had a huge snowstorm. I mean, come on. Cut me a break. They sent me 5 sets of 3-core Clapton coils with my Recoil R3. I haven't tried them yet. We did some in this build of the Recoil coils. Is that a Silvercraft mech? Yeah, Silvercraft Creations. The Chaos. They're okay. They're not gonna blow you away, but for machine made, mass produced coils, they're pretty damn good. If you liked like the Coilology Alien V2s or anything like that they used to sell in like 10 packs, not the handmade Coilology, but the big 10 packs. Um, if you like those, you'll probably like the Recoil ones as well. Man, that's good. I mean, it's the Asgard, so flavor wise, it's gonna be great. And I personally love this recipe, but with these coils and on this mech, it really shines. And for free, I'm not complaining. Plus coils, I'm assuming yours are the same. 3-core Clapton coils, 3mm ID. Being free coils that come out to 0.1, that's pretty. A lot of times when companies send you free coils, they're like, 0.15, 0.18, sometimes maybe 0.13 in dual, but these being 0.1 in dual, it's pretty nice. We got 1/2 inch of snow here in Florence, South Carolina, and people freaked out. You all aren't used to it, are you? Like, we don't get a whole lot of snow, but every so often we'll get, a foot here and there some winters. Looks like we might get another kind of foot coming up. So we're a little bit more prepared, but we still kind of freak out. Like our grocery stores, Walmart, things like they were cleared out because everyone knew this storm was coming. And ever since COVID, people doomsday shop like crazy. "22 inches here at my house in New Hampshire." Yeah, I guarantee it. It's probably crazy up there. Well, I've never lived in New Hampshire, so I guess I can't say I love it, but it's a gorgeous state. Yeah, this thing, it's amazingly well. And the flavor's just banging. I really dig this recipe, but on this setup compared to my work setup is the Dreamer and the Recoil R3. This is better than that, especially with these interlock Freylands. Just flavor wise, those coils are amazing. And Ohm's coils, his stuff lasts for a while. It's not like here in a week or two, I'm gonna have to change these coils out necessarily. As long as, take good care of them, they'll last for a little while. Really digging that setup with the beauty ring. Yeah, the beauty ring that they threw in was a nice touch. I think they were expecting people to put the Danny V2 on it because the V3 wasn't out yet. And so the beauty ring just went really well with the Danny. But I kind of like the Asgard on it a little bit better. Have you looked at the 02? Tony's supposed to be sending mine out, I think, tomorrow. He sent me the video of it completely done. It's orange with black doors. Well, he also sent me a light blue door with his flaming skull emblem. But one of the black doors has my Vaporworks Lab logo on it, which I thought was very cool that he did that. I thought he was going to have trouble with it because EDC Mods had a little bit of trouble doing it on the fire button for this one. But they knocked it out of the park. I just kind of feel bad because I think he went through a few buttons before he finally got it right. So yeah, and then the other one just says 0, the other black door. I'm pumped for it. because I dig pretty much everything he's done. And this one looks like 02 looks like he's really gotten it down how to make a 3D printed mechanical mod, all silver contacts. Looks very durable, especially for a 3D printed mod, and it just looks cool as hell. So yeah, I'm pumped for it. Who makes the Zero? Zero Mods is the company. You can get on Instagram and hit up Tony P-E-E, and all his posts here recently, at least, have been about the 02, so you can see the mod. And then usually, if you want one, you gotta kind of hit up Tony. Yeah, really dig this one. But guys, it is after 10, so I'm gonna have to get out of here. We'll save the Danny V2 build for next Monday. Not sure what else we're gonna do. Was gonna do a mix tonight, but I decided to go ahead and mix that one up before the stream because I had so many mech mods to kind of go over and so many builds to do. So we'll probably throw a mix in next Monday. Not sure what else we'll build, but I'll figure something out. Might do a little retro build. I kind of like those. So we'll see. I'll figure it out. But thank you guys very, very much for all hanging out. Really appreciate it. Had a blast. Hope to see every one of you back here on Monday for just some more building, some more vaping chilling, some more mechs. All right, guys, that's it. Vape on. I'll catch you all in the next one.
I saw you